Welcome back. World leaders have joined tech titans for the final day of the AI Action Summit in Paris to discuss the future of artificial intelligence and how it'll impact the human race. I'm joined now by the founder of AI research organisation Conscium and author of Surviving AI, The Promise and Peril of Artificial Intelligence, Callum Chase. Callum, thanks so much for joining us. Great to have you with us. I mean, it sounds like from the outline of your book that you think there's an enormous amount of risk still at play with AI.
Yeah, good morning, Wilfred. There is an enormous amount of risk, but there's also an enormous amount of upside. We are, as a species, racing to create a new species called superintelligence. That's machines which are smarter than the smartest human who ever lived. And over a fairly short period of time, they'll probably be much, much smarter than us. At that point, we will almost certainly lose control of our future. So we're racing to do that. It has huge risks and huge upsides, and that's what this summit is partly about.
In terms of this balance between whether it should be for profit or non-profit, I'm sure you've seen the headlines this morning about Elon Musk trying to buy back more of OpenAI to prevent the transition, the full transition for OpenAI from non-profit for profit. Was that always wishful thinking? Was this always going to be a sort of arms race for who could build it out the quickest and make the most money from it?
Well, there's much more capital available to private companies which are for profit than there are to government organizations or non-profit organizations. I mean, Musk is being somewhat cheeky because he wanted OpenAI to be a for-profit organization himself during its history. And Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has responded rather cheekily by saying to Musk, no, we don't want to sell OpenAI to you, but we'll buy Twitter off you for $9 billion if you like.
In terms of the nation's respective races for AI, where does the UK stand?
We are a very long way behind the two leaders. The overall leader by a great margin is the USA. China is catching up again. China caught up when deep learning was all the rage, and then it slipped behind again when large language models appeared. And now, thanks to DeepSeek, which you're showing at the moment, they're catching up again. Those two countries really have a duopoly over the invention and development of what is our most powerful technology. And really, the rest of the world should not stand by and allow that to happen. No disrespect to those companies, but Europe and other parts of the world should take part. And that is partly what this summit is about, with Macron having announced an enormous investment in AI, 100-odd billion euros, which is proportional to the recent announcement of Stargate in America for $500 billion. It's a good thing that Europe is starting to step up.
Is it a good thing for the UK too, or a bad thing that Macron is announcing this scale of investment?
I suspect it will be a spur to the UK to do something similar. At least that's what I hope. The UK could well be in third position, although, as I say, a very long way behind America and China. We have fantastic AI researchers coming out of our universities. We've got a fantastic tradition in AI. I mean, arguably, Alan Turing was one of the founders of the sector, and he was British. So there's a lot to play for the UK. We need the will to actually go ahead and do it. My company, Conscium, is part of that initiative.
In terms of the sort of engagement you have with politicians and the messages you hear from them publicly, do you think this government gets it? Do you think they're going to get it right?
I think they understand that AI is very important. Actually, I don't think more than a tiny number of people on the planet really understand the full scale of this. I think what I said earlier about we're creating a new species which could be our successor species, and we are going to become the chimpanzees in the picture. I think very, very few people understand that. I suspect the government is not among that group that really understands that. They have made some interesting statements. They said they're going to spend 100 million, but that's an order of magnitude below where the French are at the moment. So, there's a lot of ground to make up.
And just finally, where do you stand on whether or not we've got the right energy infrastructure to support the huge energy needs that AI has?
What's happening in America is they're building out more and more data centers to support their AI industry. They're having to build more energy capability. And what they're doing is they're focusing on nuclear and renewable sources. so that it doesn't have a huge climate impact. And if we go ahead and build out the data center infrastructure, we're going to need to do the same thing.
Callum Chase, thanks for joining us.